Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale, around Yak's Bend. We have a fantastic show for you. The fruits of past conventions, the mysteries of current, and with the case of armor is less more and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He's a moderator over at MMO Champion. Talking about movies last week, I am hopeful he gets discovered and there's a substantial finder's fee so that I may ride on his coattails like passengers on a train. Say hello to Jim.
You know, I'm really finding out about a lot of movies that I've never actually seen, thanks to all of your intros. And honestly, your work at this point is just getting better and better at the sleuthing. So, bravo.
It's getting harder and harder. Like I said, now people they really got to step up their movie game. That's the old one. You can read her stuff over at her blog, MMORly.com, and at MMORPG.com, a mod over at MMO Champion. Who is your favorite impressionist? I really hope it's Rory Bremner. Say hello to Robin.
Dale.
It's really hard to fit in the roaring stuff. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's true.
The best one was the Katy Perry one. And
that one was the best one.
So I was a fan of the Rorschach one, personally, but that I might be biased. But let us jump right into it. So this past week we've been a little bit light on news. Hey, you gotta call it like it is.
Chat.
Oh.
Sorry, that's what I was laughing at. Chat was commenting.
This past week we did get a blog post. It was called Tyrian Travels Chapter 1, so do expect more, I'm assuming. Unless it's like, what was the movie, like Trolls 2 that was not like the third one? Or I don't know. Someone that's better with movie trivia can probably tell me.
A History of the World Part 2?
Yes. But the interesting part about this was it involves a character created at MomoCon, which I think we've talked about. I forget when it was, but it feels like it was a couple months ago when I remember we were talking about this. And it was the panel at that convention was hosted by the narrative director Leah Hoyer and narrative designer Ross Bealey. And I think the title of it was Fundamentals of Narrative Design for Guild Wars 2. And I remember they talked about that when they were there. They talked about the audience getting to create a character, and it's kind of cool that they actually used it in this blog post, and maybe we'll actually see a character in game eventually. Who knows? But it does involve the viewing of Tyria through the eyes of Vicky and Momo, a female Surin, and her pet Moa. I think we have so there they are. Aww.
Aww.
But what are your guys' thoughts on them doing this blog post? Like, do you like the content of it, and also do you like how they integrated, basically the fans creation of this at that convention?
It's kind of neat. I like it when they do random side stuff like this, just because, it fills out the world a little more to have, like, these random things in there.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, writers can get inspired by any kind of random little thing, so it's really good to see something like this, because it's like they can just throw something out on a blog post. It's world building, it's creative, so it keeps everything flowing. And if that character can somehow integrate into the story, or they'll just drop the NPC in for whatever reason, so you can just see someone in the world. It doesn't have to be someone that's super influential. We don't need every character that's ever named to be, someone who fights dragons.
Every character that exists is the most important character ever.
Actually, as I was looking at that first picture of her and her Moa, if you're here for pre-show, we did say that the new crew doesn't have a ranger.
She could be the new one.
Yeah, what if Vicky and Momo become part of the crew?
Do Moas get the spiked collars, or is that custom?
I think that's custom.
Okay.
Really? I was going to say, I thought the black Moa that you got in the Guild Wars 1 to 2, but I might be wrong, but I haven't...
I wouldn't know, because I don't have that one, but I don't think the other ones do.
And QED also, on a small tangent, QED brings up a good point, is that Dragon's Watch also does not have... Oh yeah, Rox is a ranger. Wow. How the hell did I
I
forget
knew it!
Rox?
Oh my god! I was sitting there and I was like, I could have sworn there was one, but I was like, I'm gonna trust you. We'll go with it. Thanks.
Okay,
Yay.
I
I
feel
feel
bad
like
for
a
that,
jerk.
but then I now feel a little redeemed that Chad is also saying only the Black Moa has the collar. So
Okay.
I got that little tidbit of information. I missed a blatant
Good
picture of
job.
rocks, but I think that equals out.
But QED mentioned, Lord Farron. I think now that Ritlock is a revenant, there's no warrior.
Cannot.
He's not technically part of the group, though.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Currently
only a
not,
matter
but
of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, he's part of the group. I don't care what Anissa's doing. He's part of the group.
Fair point. He has enough respect for the commander, so yeah, I can definitely see it.
So for
He's
anybody
still the
that's
commander,
joining
though.
new to Talking Skritt, you'll
Yeah.
very much notice how quickly we can diverge a topic. So let's shift it back
Keep
to
moving.
the blog and Tyrian Travels. I mean, granted, it was mostly my fault and also blatantly getting it wrong of...
It's my fault. That was my fault.
I do feel
I
bad.
forgot rocks, and then I got them into it. So
Those sad
Yeah,
kitty,
that's my
those sad kitty eyes that Rox has. How could anyone forget? But
I love rocks.
but if we had to, I think Vicky and Momo would make a good, secondary ranger. Maybe if Rox has to go out and about.
Well, technically, Zoja's around for an NG. That's my message.
hmm But yeah, would you guys want to see and I mean, of course, it seems like we're going to see more of Tyrian Travels Chapter 1 with Vicky and Momo, Chapter 2, 3, who knows how many. Would you like to see them do more of these types of things? Maybe at other conventions. Maybe they'll do one at PAX West. Who knows? I don't think they've announced anything, but
Yeah. I think it's always neat to see just the random things they can do. Oh wait, is Zoji an Ellie?
yeah, she has.
I get confused with the.
We're gonna call this episode "Losing All Credibility."
Gosh, dang it! She's still in a coma. I was thinking with the golems. Dang. Well, hell.
But let's focus on. So
it's nice to see them do something different that's not necessarily directly related to the main story. It's just, because if you're doing a specific thing for a long time, it can get kind of tiring, but it's good to do different things that get you out of the box a little bit. Not directly related to this, but similarly, I know Matt Medina was talking about recently they were doing an exercise of telling a story without using text or dialogue, which is always an interesting exercise for a writer. So I like that they do things like that because it helps, not only helps teach, expand their abilities, but it helps spawn new ideas that they can then maybe incorporate into the game in different and interesting ways.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, would you guys actually want to see this ever put into game? Maybe after they detail the story, maybe we'll see a fractal version of it. Maybe something you guys get to play, or maybe you get to be, or someone gets to be Vicky and everybody else gets to be Mo, following her around.
I
They all got the
even
skill
if
set.
it
That'd
was,
actually be kind of funny.
Put them out in the world somewhere where you could stumble upon them, that would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I truly don't have a problem with any kind of content that is not driven by the player character. So if Vicky and Momo have some kind of, grand adventure that's on their own and it goes off, I wouldn't mind just seeing them kind of standing around in Radisson or in Lion's Arch, or, maybe for whatever reason they end up somewhere in Maguma or wherever we go to next. And they just kind of blip into the world, and you can interact with them and talk to them, and maybe they throw a little cinematic in here because one of the animators decided to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't mind them going a little bit more because they kind of did it with Dougal in Ghost of Ascalon, because you could originally you could find him in Lion's Arch. I think he's still there, and now he's like the dungeon guy. I think. I don't know recently, but he used to be someone you could just talk to by the dungeon vendors, and because he was well known in the books for Ghost of Ascalon, going to Ascalon catacombs and stuff like that. So I kind of like seeing other characters that are outside of the game, but still in the universe being put in. So yeah, I while I would like to see like maybe fractals or something to allow you to do that. Oh, now he's the guild initiative. Okay, so there you go. That's more up to date of where Dougal is and all of his adventures. So see, maybe Vicky can be a different feature that we're gonna get in 3 years or something. Who knows? with the next expansion, the expansion after. But yeah. Any other thoughts on the blog post?
No direct.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just still happy that they're doing stuff like this. I think that's like my big takeaway from all of this is that I'm just happy to see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because overall they said they wanted to take it from a perspective of like Tyria through the eyes of a almost a side character. Like I can't wait to like maybe them dealing with one of the big events and hearing it from a side character, because you're always seeing it from a main character where everybody's going to be talking to you, but maybe she'll be like, oh, I got brushed off by, Ritlock or something, like, why would he talk to me type of thing. But yeah, I can't.
Commander's a real jerk.
Who put that person in charge?
Yeah.
I mean, they said they're trying to track more things during the stories and stuff. What if they figure out who brushed off her in like one of the future stories or something, and are like, all right, well that's canon now.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, a lot of cool things that could come out of this. So hopefully we will see more of this and other stories, because definitely is pretty interesting. Let's talk about something that has popped up for the longest time. But also, we've been wanting to talk about this for like 2 weeks now. It's just there has been so many other things that we kind of kept bumping it. But once again this week, more people are talking about less outfits in the Gemstore and more armor skins. But also we had an interesting perspective a couple weeks ago from Nike of Death and Taxes. Maybe thinking about the possibility of like removing armor skins and having outfits. So you kind of have like both sides of that spectrum. So I definitely want to hear chat's thoughts. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely like to hear your thoughts on where you stand with outfits and armor and where you want them and where you don't want them. But with the forum post, it was leaning more towards less outfits in the Gemstore and more armor skins, which I think in the past we've talked about this. It used to be like that, and that's why you still see like armor sets pop up that are returning. But they have said since, what was it? Was the end of season 2? No, they started it with season 2, where they wanted to make it so armor sets you would be able to get in-game, whereas outfits were going to be the exclusive things in the Gemstore. And
yeah,
I mean,
right.
they have held true with that. And if you look at it as it's armor sets, because you can still get like one-off armor pieces in the Gemstore, but full-on armor sets are in-game only rewards. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole idea of kind of going back on that?
I'm perfectly okay with outfits being a Gemstore thing. Like that's pretty solid for things. And armor being an in-game thing, since that's like the more customizable player skill. I actually just kind of had a random thought. It'd be nice if we were able to get like a customizable outfit that was just, okay, select an armor set, and that outfit is that full armor set. So like, for example, if I'm on my Elementalist and I want to wear the full leyline outfit, so all of the leyline armor just done. Don't have to spend transmutation charges. Just boom, there we go. for people who want to really customize their look, that's what the transmutation charges would be for. So, and then also something Carnifex brings up is that they definitely need better, if they want to push outfits more, I think they need to fix dye channels for it. Like, there needs to be more dye channels available for outfits than just 4. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really nice, but I do agree with what Chet's also saying, is that would probably be hard to do just because in the end, if they went the route of how armor is, where it's like, oh, this will affect the shoulder area, you're basically cutting it up anyway. It's like at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm honestly,
I understand the whole all or nothing. I mean,
I'm honestly wondering though if outfits are already considered, like if the individual skins are still considered individual pieces.
I don't think so.
Like, I don't know how the mechanics are on the back end, so I wouldn't be able to say one way or the other. But if like the individual parts are still, like, if you still had to design, okay, when you select this outfit, it's this model in the head slot, this model in the shoulder slot, etc., etc. If you could somehow like hook into that and be like, okay, you have the dye channels for helm, shoulder, chest, so on and so forth.
I don't know. Just from looking at it in game, my inclination is it's probably not done like that. It's probably literally all one. I think, but
I'd honestly, like, they probably, it was probably part of a UI thing. The reason why outfit dyes work the way they do is they just kind of didn't have the UI real estate available. And Raffle XO, yes, anything that you can hide from an outfit, you can hide. Anything you can hide of armor, you can hide on an outfit.
Which actually makes me think, if it was, since Guild Wars 1 was built in the same engine as Guild Wars 2 is built in the same engine as Guild Wars 1, just, from the ground up type thing. I wonder if that's one thing they kept from Guild Wars 1 was outfits in that game, you could hide the head slot. Like, you basically had head slot for the outfit and then the rest of the outfit. And it just kind of seems like that's how it is here.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I think that the head is different, obviously, but like for the rest of the body, I think it's all one thing.
And honestly, I know we can hide shoulders in the thing. It might just be using the same type of logic behind that. But also, if you've noticed recently, a lot of outfits, the hiding of shoulders doesn't work. Like, it doesn't count them as a shoulder piece.
Well, didn't they just introduce that option?
I thought shoulders have been in there for a while.
Okay, then
for like armor, it's been in there for a while.
Yeah,
it might have been something else they introduced then, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I still am not a huge, like, outfits in general. I don't really use them. I prefer the more customized appearance. I know people complain about the rate that armor comes out at, but you gotta figure most of the armor in the game was stuff that was there at launch. Like, we really
things added, but
but generally speaking, there's been not much added since launch. Like, the Carapace gear was one of the big additions. Like, there are individual pieces that are released for holidays and events and stuff that you can get in-game, and then there's stuff that's introduced in the Gemstore. There have been a few armor sets introduced from the Gemstore too, but it's pretty much always been Gemstore is for outfits and game is for armor.
Yeah, but, I like that a separation too. Like, I don't know, there's just something intrinsically in my brain that it makes sense for outfits to be in the Gemstore and like to work for armor in the game. Like, for me, flipping that, and if we could only get armor from the Gemstore and could only get outfits in the game, that just seems like a inherently weird thing, not only just because like armor also carries stats with it. The outfits are literally just a look.
Well, that's one of those things, is like, it's kind of a decoupling of the thing with stats and just the skin. Because, we can get just the skin, and then basically anything you buy in PvP is literally just a holder for a skin.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's one of the things that I kind of wonder about, is why can't we get the outfit armor skins unlocked in our wardrobe?
Outfit armor skins? What do you mean?
Like those are all individual models. So in order for it to sit on the character properly, it has to be like, okay, so this shoulder piece for, I don't know, the whatever that hunter outfit was with like all the skulls and bits of things you killed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be a different model for the just the shoulder piece. That is a different model for Char, Human, Asura, Norn, Sylvari, like complete models, and then even then split again for male female. So I've never really understood why they made the distinction of outfits.
Because
Like
it goes back to
especially
originally.
after they introduced the wardrobe system.
It goes back to originally you had your armor and then you had town clothes you could switch to, which was essentially what an outfit was, where you could do different ones and you would just flip over if you wanted to in town or when you're not in combat or whatever, just to have a different look. When they went to the wardrobe system, they were trying to figure out how to make it work and make sense, and like they kind of got rid of the town clothes thing, but by making you be able to use outfits anytime, but they also got rid of being able to mix and match them. I think it was just something they did because they knew by making outfits all one together, a lot of people wouldn't like that, but it would also enable them to just put more skins into the game, make them like easier to turn out. But people who want to mix and match would still have the options for armor to do that.
I still and that is another thing. I still don't quite understand how outfits are so much easier to turn out.
Because like literally you just do all one thing. Like you don't have to
Right?
worry about like individual pieces or anything like messing up or anything. Like you come up with the entire look and you just put it in. Like
Right.
for armors you come up with the initial design, but then you have to create each item and each separate thing. That's part of why I was saying I don't think they register as individual items. I think it's just one like art look thing. It's
So
not.
you're saying that it's probably like it is one model.
Hmm.
See, that's something that confuses me then, because like you can still hide bits of an outfit. Although, from what Deo was saying, there's still some that are showing up that you can't hide shoulders.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say I think the only
Most of
thing you can
the
reliably
recent
hide is
ones,
the head.
like, yeah,
was that?
I would say most of the recent ones you can't hide shoulders. Like, I think it was like the first couple original ones that you could hide shoulders. So I
And
think that's the exception to the rule far more than the actual rule that you can hide shoulders on the outfits.
and I don't know. I think my personal thought on it is that it would just be a hell of a lot easier to hook into an existing system, i.e., the equipment system. So you put model X into slot Y or whatever,
Hmm.
and instead of devising a completely new character appearance system and doing it that way. Like, it just doesn't make much sense to me. So when I look at it as a systems designer myself, I would say, okay, if I select an outfit, I have these 6 pieces and I throw them at these slots, and they just overwrite anything that's there already. And that's just, to me, that's what makes sense. But like I said, without actually being able to see the system itself,
Hmm.
I'm just making a guess here. But and then I think that's the other thing is like you're still designing a whole look. When you design an armor set, how much consideration they take into how that armor set interacts with other pieces of gear, because but the clipping is a really terrible excuse, because even stuff that's been in from the beginning of the game clips with even its own set.
Hmm.
There are helms that hide your shoulders and have no indication of it, which
Yeah.
boggles my mind and kind of annoys me, especially when I'm like,
Really?
oh
Because
hey,
I
that
every
helm.
helm I've seen that's done that actually now says this will hide your shoulder pieces.
I guess it's for the most part that I don't like those helms, so I avoid them. I don't know,
Okay.
but
Because I know the Aura
if they
Whispers
added
and
that,
then like the other cloth, like bone mask. I forget the name of it, but I think they both say on there, like, I don't know if it's in the blue text because that's kind of like reserved for like the legendary writing, but I think it does say
mm-mm.
this will hide your shoulder piece.
It might be in like gray text or something. But no, Red Wolf, you bring up a different point I didn't think about is the dye channels. So I didn't think about that for outfits. Just having 4 dye channels would make it probably at least a little bit easier to churn out outfits. But
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at with it not being individual pieces. Like, you know, you can you just do all one thing and there you go, you got it. Whereas like everything is segmented for armor pieces. So like even if it's just 4 dye channels for each one, it's each separate one, and it's not going this channel does all of this channel does all of that. You know, it's more individual.
And Chad, I think it's you can hide armor shoulder pieces. I think there's still only like a handful of outfits that will actually function with that, similar to the helm. But like I said, it used to be like it was like an even number, and then of course we got more and more outfits. So I'm pretty sure like not a lot of the outfits, and maybe they've gone back and made it so all of them don't do it. But there used to be outfits that you could hide the shoulder piece as well. But oh, you went through all. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never done anything with shoulders and outfits, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think honestly probably like the wardrobe system for armor is great and fine. I think outfits probably need a little bit more work than just how they are right now in the game. And going back a little bit towards like the video, I watched the video from Nike, and what was it? Was his the one that it's like, hey, let's get rid of
I would say I think that
entirely?
would be the other side of the spectrum of for people that don't know, Nike put out a video that basically his concept was removing armor from the game and making everything outfits. So basically they would all function like outfits.
Mm-hmm.
So you would literally, and instead of unlocking individual leyline armor pieces, you would be like leyline armor heavy, leyline armor light.
Yeah.
And then basically, well, at that point, they would never need to design models for your gear ever again, is they just need to basically give you, I don't know, some kind of trinket system that just kind of slotted into something. Like shoulder token, berserker shoulder token or something, and it just kind of stuck in there and gave you the stats that you got for that piece.
I would imagine it'd be kind of similar in function to how PvP works.
You know, just with more slots, because I think people would get mad if you took away the customization for PvE gear.
Chad's asking about no mixing stats anymore. I think the concept behind that would be like you almost like a PvP aspect. You can actually select certain well, actually PvP does it all in one chunk. So
yeah.
I would imagine it would almost have like a stat for each slot in that way, and then you could pick like, okay, my head slot's gonna be Vipers, my shoulders are gonna be Commanders, or But then
it would basically be PvP, but for every individual equipment slot.
Yeah. So that's what I'm assuming would be how they would want to design it.
I honestly don't think we're in any danger of that ever happening, but I don't think it would be a good change. Like, we might get more total looks that we could get in game, but like losing the mixing and matching of armor sets and all of that would be a huge deal, and I wouldn't be okay with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I play for the Fashion Wars. I mean, basically jewels for each slot. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, definitely. Yeah, I don't want to lose the ability to mix and match. Like, there's a lot of times, like, the major pieces, like the chest and leg pieces I have are the same set. But a lot of other like, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I mix and match a bunch of different stuff, and I like having the opportunity to do that. And then that would also actually remove a lot of what's kind of the end game of Guild Wars 2, is going out and finding that stuff and completing it, because I think a lot of the drive for a lot of people at the end of the game is got to catch them all with all the weapons and armor skins. So,
or getting that perfect look. I mean, I think I've said it before. When I make like a new alt character that I'm planning on like playing fully, it's like one of the first things I do is like I look at like a wardrobe and go, okay, that's what I want them to look like in the end. Like, so it's like that's what I'll go for. So if I, and a lot of times it is mixing and matching. If I couldn't do that, I'd be bored.
Well, then it would get to a point where it's just like you care less and less about your character's appearance if you lose the customization options for it. So that, and like in the MMO Champion Guild Wars 2 forum, one of the biggest threads is a SweetFX and other graphical mod thread of people taking screenshots of their characters.
Yep.
Hundreds, possibly thousands of screenshots.
I was gonna say, I think one of the bigger threads on Guild Wars 2's main site is like, if you have mixed armor, post it, like, and, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Guild Wars 2 is Fashion Wars. I mean, whether you like it or not, but.
And it would kind of suck to lose that, to be honest.
Yep.
Like, that would be very disappointing.
And I mean, when I watched Nike's video about it, like I almost got a feeling, because it was also trying to talk with the people about that want more stuff out of the Gemstore, which I can fully understand that. Like, I do want to see more stuff in game, which with the current events, I feel like we're seeing more of that. I think we just have to let it keep going, because I mean, now we have the blood, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, the Bloodstone Visage, the Visage, I don't know why I said it like that. Visage.
The face, head, eyeball effect thing.
But you know, we've always said that in the past, where it's like we've only gotten Gemstore stuff when there was the content drought. It's because there was no content to accompany it with.
Isn't there a back piece involved too, from Bloodstone Fen?
Yeah, you can get one from the vendor. That's like Ascended now.
And that was from the guy that's in the camp with Bennett, who gives you access to the trinkets, so you can get all of your trinkets kitted out with new stats. So just spends time. I think that was one of the biggest problems, is trying to find a back piece that had proper stats on it. Because I think the one in raids was locked behind killing Sabbatha.
Yeah.
So not only did you have to, have raid currency, you had to have magnetite shards to buy it, you also would have had to beat the final boss of the first raid wing. And considering how ArenaNet have tuned all of their raid fights, it's not like Sabbatha is demonstrably easier than any other encounter.
Yep.
So, which is good that they've given people access to, a new back piece, because I think back pieces are probably some of the rarest skins in the game. And then having access to all the stat combos.
Yeah, I was just laughing because I remember back before the wardrobe system got in, there was a period where we were like, oh my god, stop giving us back pieces, because like everybody had like 30,000 back pieces in their bank and in their bags, because back then, if you got rid of an item, you lost the skin, and so you needed to switch things over. And, oh my god, it was so frustrating.
What was it? The original transmutation system is you took two items and you smashed them together, and you kept the stats from one and the skin from the other.
Yep. And I mean, it was cool because you could change stats on something if you wanted to, but it sucked because you always were destroying something, so you were always losing something.
That was, I think that, and then when they had the PvP skin wardrobe, like I remember logging into Heart of the Mist, and it was just like skin scroll.
Yeah.
On like a couple of my characters, it was kind of silly.
Yeah. So like we've come a long way, is what I'm saying. It's way better now. So there's a lot of people I've seen. There's a thread that is like, what was your first favorite iteration of the game? Beta, launch, year 2, whatever, hot. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it was the best at launch. And I'm like, I think there are some things that I miss about launch, but in terms of systems and the way things worked, I feel like the game is way better now than it was back then. It's so different.
Oh, I miss launch. Guardian. 5 Guardian was the meta. The glory days.
Hey, Deo. You can have your launch Guardian back, but you can only use a scepter.
No. NPCs
my
could
God.
outrun our projectile.
As basic AI NPCs outrun your projectiles.
Ugh. But I see, and I also got the thought of one concern for people of more stuff is in the Gemstore. I think what bugs me at least, and I don't know about anybody else, but how there's limited runs on things. Like honestly, I feel like 7 day, like if something's out for 7 days, if you want to get it, and I know they're doing this on purpose, if you want to get it in means of maybe in game, you're going to like probably the most boring thing of gold grinding to get the gold to get it.
Yeah.
And
But that's partially like, just human psychology. They want you to be like, oh my gosh, I need to get it before it goes away. It makes you more tempted to actually buy the gems, which is what they want. So.
yeah, I just don't like the idea of it's like then they return things. It's like you didn't you didn't run out of stock. Like you didn't have to go pump out more. I
don't know. Nashville talks about room in his warehouse all the time.
Well, to be fair, like I'm going to use this example because I have a Costco membership, and Costco, Sam's Club, I don't know if those exist, like big retail outlet stores where you can buy in bulk, and their stock is whatever they have at the time. It does something on a what?
You kind of pause for a second.
Oh, okay. It's not like I would buy stuff to keep in my desk at work for breakfast and for lunch so that I wouldn't, spend all my time going out to eat every day. And there are times where, like, the breakfast drinks that I would get would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's like they could keep getting the same thing, but sometimes, the prices drop because people see it there all the time. The novelty of, hey, new thing for super cheap is gone, so they have to cycle it out, get something back in that gets them more revenue, and then, when that falls off, they either get the old thing back or they get a third thing in. So you're right, it's psychology. It's the psychology of marketing, and it's annoying, yes, because this is the internet, they're digital goods. You have a limitless size of your storeroom, but the psychology still applies.
Yeah, it's also the thing is when you're talking about things that you don't actually need, things that are convenience or just completely cosmetic. Wow. I was like, cosmetic. If you know that at any point you can get that thing, you are more likely not to actually get that thing because there is no sense of urgency or anything. You're just like, oh, I'll get it whenever, and then you go do stuff, and a year later you still haven't gotten it. So that's why it's the way it is, and
Now,
it sucks. But
the one misstep that I will completely bring up all over again, and Denrasu reminded me, the Phoenix glider.
Yeah,
that was a massive failure.
Because for people who don't know, the Phoenix glider, when it came out, usually most items are out for a week, like that are these time gated ones. This one seemed like it was out for like 3 or 4 days. Because by the 2 days, I was say by the time it came out Tuesday, and by the time they did a behind the scenes thing on Guild Chat on Friday, which I remember we've talked about it many times. So many people in the Guild Chat. Twitch chat, Guild Chat. See, I can't say that 3 times fast.
So many chats.
Yeah, but so many people were like, "Oh, this looks amazing!" When you saw all like the guys doing the Foley work for it. Now I was even like, "This is selling me," and everybody was logging in, going, "Where is it?" Like, I can't give you money. Like, so at least, while I hate the 1 week timer, I really don't think, unless it's like the Black Friday sales where they're like, "Oh, only 24 hours," like. When they do that kind of thing.
Or like when they did the preview of the Black and the White Wings, we're like, hey, we're putting this out for 24 hours. Like, I think if they're going to do short sales like that, they should tell people because, like, it only helps them by telling them you have, like, 24 hours to do this. Like,
Well, it was, and that's one of those things is that Guild Chat is planned like well in advance. I'm certain, just so that they can make sure, because like they have footage of the Foley guys and everything when they're
Well,
talking
yeah, and
about
they
the
have to
Yeah.
party.
also get
And they also
everybody
have to schedule
organized.
people's time and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when the Phoenix Glider went on sale, they knew it was going to happen on Guild Chat. Hell, everything was probably filmed already
Well,
for
you know,
like
it
extra
also
stuff.
yeah,
But
it also
it's just
depends. Like different groups probably control like when things go into the Gemstore and come out.
well,
I would have to imagine there was
but
probably
that's
some
the thing is
miscommunication there.
there would have had to be, because like you're going to show off this thing that's really cool and it's already not on sale again.
Yeah.
Now they're either gambling on people like watching out for it like a hawk and jumping on it the second it goes back in,
Mm-hmm.
or they really just legitimately made a mistake.
Yeah, that's
So either
just
way,
because
I
there's not
honestly
that
think
many that
it's-
are like 4 days in the middle of a week. I've seen them do like
Mhm.
special sales where it's like, oh, for the weekend. So I'm wondering if it was like a slip up or just miscommunication or. But
Something happened.
I'm actually willing to bet that it was a small mistake, because we haven't seen anything like that since then.
yeah, exactly.
So
See, I would like them to get away from a web-based gem store and go more towards of like like Rift has a cash shop thing that holds a lot more stuff, like, because I'm not against them cycling things in and out,
Mhm.
like seasonal stuff, like, because I think they did it a couple weeks ago where they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh hey, we're going into like, or we're about to go into the winter months, or summer stuff is going away. I can understand that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see like a bigger selection in the gem store at any given time, and I think that one thing was the limitation of that it's a web-based.
Yeah, you
Rift
also
is
have to be
web-based.
kind of
okay.
you also have to be kind of careful of that, because I know like when I go into some other games and they have a really huge and expansive in-game store, like I'll look at one, maybe 2 pages, and then I'm like, you know what, this is way too much. I give up, and like I don't even care. So like there's a balance somewhere between having enough of a different things without it being overwhelming and turning people away from actually looking into it to see what's available.
I guess it just depends on where you fall, because if you had like 100 pages of different like shoulder pieces, I'd be like, no, that one's not perfect. That one, no, there's a little bit of blue there. My guys are like red and gold. No, like
I would be like, screw this, done.
that's actually, like, Deo, you brought up Rift. I recently just re-downloaded it and logged back in, and I've been playing it a bit because my wife was playing with Bog and Peachy a little
Mhm.
bit when they did a stream for it one day, and their patron shop is a
Robust.
little overwhelming.
Oh.
It's robust is a very polite word.
Yeah.
It's very busy, and I can totally understand wanting a smaller selection and a less complex UI, because that keeps things a little more concise.
Mm-hmm.
It makes people focus on things,
Yep.
and it's fine to have stuff in for, like, because I think they have stuff cycling out on a seasonal basis. I remember they did
Semi-seasonal, yeah.
semi-seasonal, like every 3 or so months, because I remember when they said they were like cleaning out the gem store or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then shorter sales, and then like week-long sales, and then like 1 or 2 day sales. And that's fine. I honestly think that's great, because it keeps stuff cycling through. It keeps people paying attention. That's a bigger deal. Like Rift, I don't think anything ever leaves their gem shop. I think it's called Gems. It's either Gems or Credits, one of the two.
Yeah.
But nothing ever leaves it. So it's just, as they add stuff to it, it just piles on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So for somebody like brand new to Rift, if they were to pick up the game right now and they clicked on that store button, it's just like, bam.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
No.
admit it is a little
That's
overwhelming.
exactly what
but if
I
you
was
know what you're
thinking of.
going for, I don't know. I like having the.
How do you know, like, if you don't already know everything that's on there to know what you want, like, how do you know?
Well,
like, how do you find out?
I mean, looking at it at the very beginning, it's overwhelming. But if you click like, oh, I want to see what, heavy shoulder pieces are. I don't mind searching through 200 pages because I want to find the one that looks great. But
if it has a better search system, I'll agree that it is a little better. Although Denrasu in chat brought up a really good point. Who here remembers store catalogs?
Hated those. I hated those.
The super dense magazine print, and that you could literally kill someone with it by hitting them with it.
I used to get those, and I always would into the trash because I was like, this is just too much.
No. No, you don't throw them away. If you have fires, you use them as starter.
We didn't have fireplaces.
Oh, shame.
Well, it was never cold enough for a fire.
Well, then you were doing it wrong.
No. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I love to hear people's stances on it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely let us know because, I don't know, this is one of those things where, no one's right or wrong. It's just, where do you fall? And it might be different.
Yeah, there's different, levels of comfort and what you want to go through, and I'm one of those people where I don't mind going through the Guild Wars Gemstore. I will go through every page and look at it because it's very limited, and that's fine.
It's all 3 pages, unlike Rifts where 3 pages you haven't even found the stuff you wanted to yet.
Yeah,
and
it's the same
love it.
thing in Star Wars too. I have 7,000 cartel coins I'll never spend because I can't be bothered to go through everything in their damn store.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's move away from hypothetical Gemstore stuff to actual Gemstore stuff. So this week, as always, thank you to Dolphy for providing picks. Definitely check out Dolphy.net where you can go preview this stuff early and spend your gems wisely. So first up in the Gemstore, as you can see on the left there, it is the Amethyst Aegis, which is 600 gems. It doesn't have any draw sound, but it does have some sparkle effects. And as we were talking, this is only available for 7 days, so get it while you can.
It'll be up until Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, it should be Tuesday. The thing in the top right, the Shattered Bloodstone Circlet, is 400 gems. I don't think that one had a time limit on it. I didn't see. The other two said 7 days, so correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, if you do know. Like I said, I didn't see a time limit on the helmet. But also you can get the Mini Jungle Lord Farron, and that is 350 gems, and that one is available for 7 days only.
If you like Lord Farron in a loincloth, there you go.
And Chad is confirming that there was no time limit on the helmet piece, so if you have a little bit of time on that one, but the other two things, definitely if you like the look of them, grab them while you can. So would you guys be picking up any of these for...
I might,
and Chad as
well. I might get that shield.
I really like the shield.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get it just because I just got the Bloodstone one. And I spent all of my gems in the sale, so...
I actually was broke for most of the birthday sale, so I think I kind of dodged a bullet there.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so... Well, not nice that I was broke, but hey, I managed to save some money by, not having money to spend on it.
Yeah, Katie, many of the devs absolutely love Farron. I don't know why, but they absolutely adore Farron, so there's a lot of Farron.
I think it's just because he's the super comic relief.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's comic relief without being too Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think we're going to hit that point because if they continue to use him, because it kind of made sense when it was, and everything, when beginning of Scarlet, when everything took place in Divinity's Reach and stuff like that with the Queen. Now that we're kind of in Heart of Thorn and stuff, it's still okay, he's somewhat involved. It's are we going to be in every zone? He's hey guys, it's yeah, we get it, get away. So I could definitely see us hitting that point, but...
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, I mean, if you did that event line with him enough in Verdant Brink, which I did for a while, after a while I was dude.
Yeah, but I think that's the only place he exists. Is he's just right there, right?
Well, no, he's in the personal story. If you're a human and you pick noble.
Oh, but that's just
Well,
your
I
fault
know
if you did
And
that.
and he was
It's in the
part of
personal.
season 1. He was part of season
Well,
1.
Oh,
I
chat,
missed a
please
great
don't
deal of
make him
season one,
part
so.
more part of the story. Chat's saying their theory is Lord Farron is Mr. E. I don't want him more in the story. I like him as the
I
comic relief
would
right now.
die.
I'm worried.
I don't know. Him being like the secret genius and the whole buffoonery act is really just an act. Not.
I want an option
Would
if
have been
that's the
like,
case.
you are a really good actor, sir.
I want an option
But I
of
was talking-
dialogue option if that's the case. When he reveals himself as like the all intelligent behind the scenes guy, I'm like, I quit. I'm out. Nope.
But I meant specifically for Heart of Thorns, like in repeatable content with Farron. It
I was
is
gonna say,
literally
yeah.
just that one
Oh,
event change
yeah.
He only shows
in
up
Burning
there.
Brink. Okay, so he's really not like the only thing that's really prevalent about him is stuff that gets thrown into the Gemstore, like the minis.
Mhm.
Like that's really one of the things we see the most of him from. So that wouldn't bother me too much. So Red Wolf says the amethyst shield is from Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, and I believe it was also
The internet.
because I want to say it was also one of the ones that was during a Guild Wars 1 contest, like art contest where they had the fans pick or draw them and vote on them.
Oh,
That
nice.
is actually a very close model. I'm going to throw that link in chat. Give me 1 second.
But
The model's actually pretty close. That's impressive.
mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then Denrasu said, if there'd be one something for every birthstone, that would be actually kind of cool if they came up with a like not necessarily just a bunch of shields, but just a bunch of weapons that were like birth month
Birthstone
gemstones.
related,
Yeah,
That's cool.
like
Yeah, that would be
a
kind of.
emerald sword or something like.
Uh,
It would just be all.
But
the
what you're
different
saying
stuff.
is you want unique ones of each type, not recoloring of that one, correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my
that's-
problem here is you said emerald sword, and my first thought immediately was like, emerald swords wouldn't work because emeralds are a really soft gemstone, so they'd break. And then I was like, wow.
Arlie, magic.
Yeah.
I can see Arlie
We're
in
fighting.
like in a game universe like this. There's a dragon flying overhead, and she's looking at her sword, going, "This would never work." But yeah. So go pick those up. But also this week we do have some returning items, and kind of unfortunately, what Chat was saying, so much Lord Farron. Well, there's just a little bit more. So you can get the Magic Carpet Mini Festive Lord Farron. So the Magic Carpet's 200 gems. The Mini is 400 gems. The Mini Golden Pig, 280 gems. The Mist Herald back item is 400. You also have right there, I believe that's the Exemplar Attire outfit for 560 gems. The Noble Count outfit there for 560 gems. And also you have the Mask of the Queen for 400 gems, available for 7 days only, and also Lord Farron's Rapier skin for 400 gems. And in the realm of non-skin stuff, you have the Total Makeover Kit, 280 gems, 5 for 1,120. Banker Golem for 400 gems. The Royal Terrorist Pass for 800 gems. So all that stuff is there at a discount. And like I said, the only one that looks like it's timed is the Mask of the Queen. So if you're interested in that one, definitely go pick that one up.
Although,
as soon as possible.
it's probably longer than a week, but the others are probably timed too for the sale
Yeah.
price.
Oh yeah, for the sale price, but I don't know if they'll actually remove them necessarily.
Yeah, I was
Then-
just thinking it would be funny if there was an ability with Farron minis to have more than one mini out at a time, so you could like have all your Farrons out at once.
Dude.
Please no.
That would be hysterical.
If you had more than one out, would they start acting
Do
like
they start
Night at,
fighting each other?
well, Night at the Roxbury? They're like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey."
Oh God. And then we somehow find out that Farron has mesmer abilities, and then he starts he has clones of himself, and he just starts telling jokes and bad jokes and complimenting himself, and it's just like, oh God. Lord.
Oh, see, yeah, that's gotta be the next step because yeah, chat's loving that idea, but you could also match up with like if you have two, chat's saying you could have like Casimir and Jory out.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Have a small posse of miniatures.
yeah, that would be cool. I like that
Yeah.
idea. I mean,
There is one.
it would probably increase that whole like, oh, there's calling on the minis again, like, but maybe down the road,
Honestly,
maybe you can activate it for your guild halls. There you
Oh,
go,
geez.
guild hall upgrade.
I would very much like to see more done with the minis because a
Yeah.
lot of them have really interesting models, like the little mini serpent dragons, like the snowflake dragon.
Yeah.
I think I have that one from some reason. I can't remember why, but I
It's
don't know if I
cool.
bought it or if it was a gift or something. But I have one of them that's like a wispy dragon thing. But like there are a lot of really well worked on models, and like you don't
Polymock,
really see them all that often. What's that?
Polymock.
Polymock or so, you know what would be
Fight.
okay, so something that would be really interesting is being able to set minis up as guild hall decorations.
Yeah.
Like you have a tiny like little miniature diorama of creatures.
Or you would be able to see like your little minis roaming around in the guild hall. That would be cool.
See, I would be scared because when you were saying that, the festive Lord Farron popped up. I was like, I don't know if I want to see a whole cluster of mini Lord Farrons running around.
Or something from Winter's Day where it's Toy Maker like Tox's toy battle arena or something, and you can put minis in it, and the minis will have a snowball fight.
There you go.
It's a little miniature like snow arena from like the PvP style stuff, and your minis are the ones fighting.
That'd be fun.
I'll say, Chad. I do like animating them. Chad has a good point that yeah, Guild Wars 1 did that with their minis. Like when you dedicated it, put like the mini version into your Hall of Monuments. So
Yeah.
and it was confined to the
That'd be
plaque.
cool.
Now I would like to see them moving around, kind of like what you're saying. Like they'd all like maybe you could make it go okay, snowball fight, and they do like a.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that'd
If
be
they
kinda
made cats do a snowball fight, they could totally do it with minis.
There, maybe that's them just testing it. There you go. So it's all coming together. But yeah. So would you guys be picking up any of these returning items? My recommendation: Magic Carpet if you want a cosmetic mount with the changes they've put in the past. We've talked about it. And of course, Mini Gold Pig. I mean,
Yeah. I already
Yeah, I kinda
have
figured you'd
all of
plug the
those
pig.
things that I would want out of that.
oh, don't word it
so-
like that.
Plug the pig.
I said it on the internet. No takebacks.
But yeah, are there any that you guys would consider or own that you would probably recommend to people?
I like the Noble Count outfit. I like that one a lot. Like that's a nice outfit.
I was gonna say, yeah, the female version of the Noble Count outfit, like it gives you like a nice, like noble dress type thing. I mean, of course, it's noble.
It even
like-
looks good on Char.
well, there you go. That's like strong endorsement right there.
I might actually get the Mist Herald back piece, but I'd have to see how it looks on my warrior because I think I'd want to use it for my warrior. Speaking of back pieces, I had an interesting conversation about those in Lion's Arch map chat the other day.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, people were looking through the 4th anniversary back pieces, and somebody was playing their Char. So I think that what they opened with is ArenaNet is aware that backpacks float like a foot off of Char, right?
Yeah, it's magic.
It's really bad. Like it is really poor modeling. Like people talk about, you can't have all of the outfit armor piece skins because of clipping, and then there are Char and back pieces.
Well, really everything with Char, like helmets in Char, most armors with their tails. Are you kidding me? It's awful. Like Char have a hard time with anything. like
it's
anything.
really
You
not
should
that
walk
hard.
around naked.
It's really not that hard with the tail. You just punch a hole through it.
Yeah,
Like
but
they can
so
cut
many
the
of
model
them-
around it.
just don't work that way, and the tail clips through all the time. Like it's a consistent issue.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the helms and the horns and all of that. It's crazy.
Well, every other character gets that to an extent where the helm like remove like Deo has that problem with his Norn where it's like he can't wear some helms because there goes your beard. Don't know why, because it doesn't cover your face, but there goes your beard.
Oh, and the two-toned beard. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it for this week. Hopefully next week we'll get some more information out there. But we do after show, so stick around. We'll do a little bit of one because I think this week's a busy week. But Jim, where can you be found?
I can be found on Twitter at MelphanusMMO.
And Robin, where can you be found?
On Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82 and at MMORarlie.com. And I write random things over at MMORPG.com.
I mean, are they game related or just random things? Yeah. Like, okay.
Random game related things.
Okay. Sounds awesome.
She goes off on tangents sometimes, but yeah, it's usually game related.
Well, if you've ever watched the show, you know everybody goes off on random tangents, so she's in good company. Well, probably not good company. Anyway, you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. And you can find us if you're popping in right at the end. I saw someone that, one of our people in chat that usually shows up did. You can watch this over on YouTube. It will go up on YouTube Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Just search Talking Skritt. Usually the first ones to pop up. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you can make it out Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We do this live over at twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit. And join in on, pre-show and after show and just hang out and talk with everybody in chat and us. So as always, we will see you in the game. Good night, everybody.